right, I believe we're live. Welcome everyone to Military Mondays. For those of you who may not know who I am retired Major Brenda Sanchez, and my husband and I are the co-founders of Life's Real Currency, and we help businesses to save time and make more money in the area of client engagement. And I have a heart for the military and serving the military and the community. I did that for 27 years in the Air Force, and now I do it in the business community. And so every Monday morning, I like to bring to you another business that is either veteran-owned, spouse of a veteran-owned, or supports the military. And so if that's you, if that talks to you, please reach out to me, because I would love to maybe interview you one Monday morning on my Military Mondays. But enough of that, because I have two amazing people on today. Tim and Brownie Richardson, I met probably about a year ago, maybe, through a veterans networking group. So again, veterans networking, it's a great way if you're in a community and you're starting your own business or thinking of starting your own business, please reach out and see what veteran organizations are there. There's veteran chambers, there's veteran networking groups, and that's how we can stay connected and help each other. And hopefully I'm going to get this right. So I'm sure Tim's going to laugh if I get it wrong, but Tim and Brownie have founded Hope Advanced, and they help the don't tell me, broken, busted, and disgusted. Yep. There we go. Both, it's a lot of mental, and they help a lot of veterans, homeless and that. So I'm super excited to have them on today. So welcome to my show, Tim and Brownie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honor.
Yeah.
Thanks.
An honor to be here.
Tim, let's start out, because you served, let's start out with your military career and what you did in the military, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Interesting. I just 50 years ago, last September is when I went in the service. So September 1970, served till 1972. Did all my training, AIT and basic, at Fort Lewis. Then I'd already seen my orders. A little miracle in this, if I can throw it in. I'd seen my orders. Guess where I was going to go? Nam. Supposed to fly out to Oakland that weekend and ready to go. But the next morning, we found out that the Pentagon changed the orders, and I ended up in Germany. And the interesting part about that was, because I was just gung-ho enough, I probably would have lasted 2 weeks in country. But I got to spend some time with really interesting folks coming out of Nam in there. So anyway, I was a TAMS clerk, the Army Maintenance Management System. So if you wanted a piece of equipment out of our company, you had to see me to get the logbook. If you had the equipment, didn't have the logbook, I'd get you thrown in the brig. So anyway, which I did to an executive officer almost one time. So anyway, but I got out, honorably discharged as an E5 full-blown sergeant. And yeah, there's my military career, and never had to serve in the National Guard, because my employers would always tell the Army that, listen, I have to close my doors if he goes. And that wasn't necessarily true, but it worked. So I didn't have to do any NG work. Okay.
So
go
ahead. I was going to say, once you got out, what did you do, Tim?
Well, I started out essentially in the freight business, freight related, probably from 72 all the way to 77 when deregulation hit. People don't know what that means, but it changed the trucking industry. And I went in the insurance business. Still, I'm licensed in the insurance business. But I've started several businesses. Some of them did really well. Some didn't do much. I've run several businesses for people, and then moved here in 2016 to do some extra Bible college study in Woodland Park, Colorado, and then kept my insurance business. And then 2018 started on paper Hope Advanced. And a year ago today, we had signed a lease, and that when everything shut down, we started. And that's another story. But,
yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
So, and Brownie, I know that you didn't serve, but I know your family served. Your dad and brothers, I think, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
My oldest brother
And
served.
what was it like being a family member of those that served?
Well, actually, my dad was quite older when my mom and dad got married, and so he never really talked about that until my mom passed away. I didn't even realize, except for some pictures, he never really talked about it.
Oh,
And
wow.
then, yeah, and then of course my brother, who is quite a bit older than I remember him going off to the army, and I was not happy about that because I loved him very much. But and still do. But so I don't really remember a whole lot about that. But I will say that I think because I knew that, I was always very supportive of the military and love my country. Of course, my parents taught me a lot of that too. But
Yeah, of course, your upbringing. So,
yeah.
tell my viewers, because I happen to know that you guys are recently married, so you're newlyweds. So
Yes.
how did the two of you meet?
Well, I came up here to go to Bible college in Woodland Park and basically was starting a new life because I had my husband of 40 years had passed in 2016, and I was pretty much on a new journey and felt like I wanted to learn foundations in the Bible college. So I had a roommate that invited me to go to a Bible study. And this fellow right here was one of the leaders in that Bible study. And the more I heard him talk, excuse me, and share about the Lord, the more I liked him.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And so through a course of time, we got to know each other and took lots of rides to the beautiful mountains of Colorado. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so in October of 19, we got married. We've been married 67 months last Friday.
Well, it is months.
Yeah, it is months.
Yeah, it is months. Yeah, it was weeks when we first got married. Now it's months.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's weeks.
No, that's not 57 months. That'd be a long time. That'd
Yeah, I was
be
gonna say.
five over 5 years.
Yeah, it's weeks.
7 weeks.
Okay, that's right. It's 6, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen. You get older, you get smarter. Doesn't mean you know how to say it though.
That's
Right.
funny.
Okay.
So I know that you guys recently, yes, you started Hope Advanced right when the craziness happened in the
Sure.
world. And it has exploded. It has done amazing things. I know that just
Yeah.
recently you opened a like thrift shop.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about what you do in the thrift shop and the mission so that those that are watching that might need some help know how Tim and Brownie can help them.
Yeah. Well, the nutshell, the whole thing, as you'd mentioned up front, our elevator speech, if you will, is we work with the broken, busted, and disgusted. And of course, who's that? People that just life hits them hard and they go off the rails. What is that? I don't know. It's health, it's marriage, it's divorce, it's COVID, it's all the things that can happen. And some people just go all the way off. Okay. And I'm not just talking about our cardboard carrying citizens, bless their hearts, but they're part of that. But when they do decide to come back and seek help, they need help. They don't need another clipboard. They don't need another program. Though I'm not saying those aren't effective and don't work, but we saw so much failure personally and in just other stories and statistics that we decided what we're going to do is bring a different component. And that is we sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper. And we have, if you will, a discovery process between getting to know them and them getting to know us. And once we do that, discover the most important things for them to move ahead on, that they agree on, okay, which we got to agree with them too, then we start to move forward at no cost, no obligation, for as long as they need us. Now, does that make us famous and better than anybody else? No, but it is a different component, and it's one that's missing. When people talk about things they go through in life and how they move forward, they're always talking about generally not an organization, but someone who, or some people that would spend the time with them. Let them cry, let them kick, let them scream, and then point them in the right direction. Okay. Not just be sympathetic. Okay. So I don't want to leave any of this out, but we wanted to build a model that we believe we're going to be able to duplicate in the near future. So Hope Advanced is a nonprofit because we are a member of New Horizons Foundation. New Horizons, as of today's numbers, represents over 800 nonprofits. They are located here in Colorado Springs, founded by Bill Moritz, because 40 years ago, he recognized something. People with great ideas, great ministries, great things, and they had a 501c3 status, and they failed miserably. They couldn't even do what they set out to do because they didn't know how to do the tax. They didn't know how to do the legal end of it, and they were failing and floundering regularly. So and that's a miraculous thing there, but I knew the people from the inside out, and that's where we started Hope Advance, actually officially in 2019, June of 2019, but boots on the ground, March of last year. And now go back to our model again. So we got Hope Advanced. We also own a nonprofit, non-tax exempt. That'll shake everybody's head that thinks they know something about nonprofits. C Corp corporation in Colorado. And that corporation is the primary member of any LLC that we form that is for profit. Now that goes to our thrift store, which is a for profit. So if you go to the Colorado State Secretary of State, look for lightly used LLC, it'll show me as the primary member. But you go to the paperwork in the personal file or confidential files, it says that our C Corp is the primary member. And you can talk to somebody else about why it was set up that way. But it's a tax deal. It's Uncle Sam cannot get his fingers in stuff that you prefer he not get them in. And I'm not talking about anything illegal or immoral, but they can't control it like they normally can a 501. Now, in the meantime, we want profits as they develop, and we're not profitable yet, but we're working that way. Will go to help support Hope Advance. So lightly used, we'll pay approximately 10% of net profit to Hope Advanced over time. And then there are 9 other nonprofits, everything from St. Jude's, Tunnels to Towers, Ronald McDonald House, et cetera. We have 9 of them specifically listed that they will do a monthly donation to, just like you and I can, okay?
Right.
$19 a month to St. Jude's, $11 a month to Tunnels to Towers. But we think that's a solid foundation because that is a for-profit store, but profits go to
Nonprofit.
helping nonprofit. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That was good.
All of the profits that you see out of that, or the majority of profits you see out of that after operating expenses, are going to help nonprofits.
Exactly. And we happen to be one of them, obviously. And guess what? Our thumb's on that.
Yep.
But we want to develop that because and we do seek donations of the Hope Advanced. No doubt about it, because we have expenses. We are self-funded at this point, and we're supporting the new thrift store. That's not a cry for help, except if we got good stuff, good prices, people will come. We started with Zip, and we've had several over $200 days. We're going for $300 days.
Awesome.
On a consistent basis.
Before we get any further, for those that are watching that are in the Colorado Springs area, where can they find that thrift store?
Well, if you know where Safeway is, at Galley and North Circle, 1165 North Circle, right beside the Safeway store. Because right beside Safeway, there's a one-story building that's got a brewery, restaurant, fingernails, Jackson Hewitt, and also us. We have the end unit, which is Hope Advanced for our offices and conference rooms. Then we have Jackson Hewitt, and then right next to it is our thrift store, lightly used. Can't miss it. Got banners that are almost taller than the building, etc. But we're getting known little by little. And that's why we have 2 full-time employees there. One is a veteran, John Cluck, veteran of the Navy, right? No, Air Force. I'll get it right here. A good friend of ours. But anyway, and yeah, and if you're a veteran, come in and say you're a vet, and they'll do something for you. Okay. And we only have 5 price points, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And we have no junk. Okay.
Nice.
95% clothing, 5% other stuff. And we just don't have the space to do big stuff, but we're collaborating to have more space for bigger items because we have people want to give us a lot of really good stuff. We just don't have space for some.
So right now you're looking for donations, not just financial, but you'd be looking for donations of clothes.
Yeah, if you've got good stuff. If you don't have good stuff, bring it anyway. We got a dumpster. Okay. I'm not being mean, but if it's not any good, look, we're not going to keep it.
Right.
And so many of the other places, ARC and Goodwill, are not even taking a lot of items, not necessarily the clothing, but bigger items. And we can't because we don't have a place yet. Stay tuned. We will have, because we are looking for someone who will donate space, which they can get full credit for tax-wise, because if we can do it through Hope Advanced. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let me, if I may, go back over to Hope Advanced. Besides working with the people, which is not something that we have our calendar filled all the time, but constantly people are flowing in and out. The people we've worked with, whether we've had success or still working on succeeding with them, they're always in and out of the picture. And it could be physically, and it could be meeting elsewhere, etc. We just celebrated a birthday with a couple that we got involved with in October, and I'll use this as a success story, if I may. We knew them through good circumstances, through a church that essentially vetted them, not on, on purpose. They were not just somebody that showed up one day and said, "Can you please help us?" No, they just showed up to go to church. And then if anybody tried to give them anything, they wouldn't take it unless they could earn it somehow. And the reason that was they were where they were, which was living in a tent near Goodwill, was they had come out of 2 separate messes in California, met each other, headed this way, had their car stolen and all their identification stolen. They finally got here, clear-headed, clear-minded as they could possibly be. And then we started to work with them in October. And we worked with them for 11 solid weeks, day in, day out, on all levels of things you can think of. We helped them in every aspect that we possibly could, from housing to food, to getting taxes filed, to computers, to getting all the stuff filed in the right places to get their ID and all that. January 1st, they got married.
Nice.
She started her full-time job on December 31st, the day before. He has been waiting. He still has a little bit to get on his driver's license, okay, which is going to be his photo ID. But fortunately, he's found an employer that is going to fully employ him starting this Friday. But he has so many skills. He has been pretty gainfully employed on the private side of things for the last 2 months. So they have their own place, they have a vehicle, and they're doing well, okay?
Nice.
But yet they were the broken, busted, and disgusted. They're a prime example. And then we've had some other people that were, situations are completely different, and we continue to work with them, and it's working. And we had some people, we have a few conversations, and we realize the 800-pound gorilla in the room is not leaving unless they decide to cooperate. Okay, so, but at Hope Advanced in our offices, again, right beside Safeway, Brenda, we do a lot, okay, in a good way. We have our offices, which takes up a little bit of space in front, and a couple of easy chairs, but then the rest of it's all tables and chairs. And the reason for that is we have meeting upon meeting upon meeting upon meeting. Some of those are things that we do. Others, like tomorrow morning, VetNet, the live part of them is still a hybrid meeting now, but at 8:30 is going to be VetNet right at our offices. It's not us, it's just we let them use our facilities, and for obviously good reasons. And we're part of that group. but then we have a group this Thursday, and that's something that happens once a month. We'll have the room packed, and that's Meeting of the Minds, and that's all built around our theme, which is helping people to their best life. It's something you and I talked before we went on air. We got a lot of organizations doing a lot of things. A lot of them are duplicating efforts of other people, and we need to learn to collaborate. And that's what that meeting does. We've got well over 20 people in ministries and businesses, philanthropy, if you will, that just want to do that. And the connections that take place in that room once a month probably outstrip all the meetings put together that we go to all month long. It's just amazing.
Awesome. So if there are organizations that want to collaborate and help the broken,
Busted.
busted, and disgusted, I'll get it yet. You got to say it a lot of times. Then, that might be a good place. Reach out to you and you can plug them in there so that you can coordinate. Because I happen to know that you and Brownie know what you are good at and have partnered with a lot of organizations that provide the auxiliary type of stuff that is needed for those people in need. So you're not trying to put your arms around the whole thing. You're trying to put your arms around all of the organizations in town that provide all those extra services that you don't, so that you can plug them in. So you are a master connector for those people that are broken, busted, and disgusted.
Yay!
And we're trying to be clones of Frank Sinclair, for those that know Frank Sinclair, because the fact is our byline, not broken, busted, and disgusted, but helping people to their best life. That's what we need. We don't know who the next person is coming through the door. Therefore, we don't know that we don't need to know somebody else who is in this lane, if you will, of helping people, because we've had it happen already so many times. We find something out last week, and next week somebody walks in the door, makes the phone call that needs that person.
Yep.
They didn't need us, okay? And some of it's so unrelated, it's almost laughable. I won't even go into the story, but it's so funny the way it happened. And it's just because somebody knew us and sent me a casual text and said, somebody that might be interested in doing the kind of work that I do. It's a whole different story. And I'll be dead gum if I didn't know who that person was. And that's what we've been looking for. Call that person. That person's gainfully employed, so happy they can't stand it.
Nice. Yeah, it's uncanny. When you put, and I say this all the time in business, when you put positive out, positive comes back. It's the energy you give out, and the two of you are so giving and so generous that it's natural for it to come back. It's the law of the universe.
It is.
You, the three of us call it something else, but we'll call it the law of the universe right now, because there are people that have different faiths than we do, which is fine. But it's watch The Secret, the movie. What you give out comes back tenfold.
Yeah.
And are you doing that in your life and in your business? And if you are, only good things will happen.
Well said. I like to call it gravity. You can go by gravity under certain circumstances, but 99.9% of the time you jump off that roof, you're going down. So what are you doing jumping off of those? If you're going to jump, find the good places to jump.
Find a soft place to land.
A soft place to land, right? Exactly. So now somebody that we follow closely, won't get into names here because again, people have different opinions, but it's one of the best phrases I've ever heard. Great expectations get great results.
Yep.
And I don't care if we're talking about the military, the church, personal relationships. Okay. I'm not talking pie in the sky. I'm just talking having the right attitude. And that's the right attitude. Life sucks. Who cares? So what? Doesn't matter. Let's go forward. Let's have great expectations, not sucko expectations, because we know where that's going.
Yep.
Anyway. All right.
Yep. I think that's an amazing place to end. Was there anything else that maybe we didn't talk about today that you guys wanted to talk about?
I think the only thing that for people that have this attitude towards helping people. You know, helping people isn't doing what we do necessarily. It's doing what you do. It's everybody doing whatever they do. I don't care if you go sweep a warehouse and you sweep it well, somebody knows, sees, understands that you're there. So your attitude's important. And if your attitude's towards that direction of helping other people, please connect with us, okay? And not because we're the end all and be all. We're not. We know we're not. We're glad we're not, thank God. But what we are glad of is we can be that conduit, that connector, and let us help you connect to some people. And we all have seen this in our lives. We have seen absolute extraordinary miracles in relationships that, had they have not connected somehow, some way, the effect that it ended up having on people's lives would have never happened. Well, how can you say that? Because I've lived 70 freaking years and I've seen it over and over and over again. And this last year has been a microcosm of miracles and things that we hoped would happen. And I'll be dead gum. Brenda, they did. We expected it. Okay.
More.
Thanks for letting us be here with you. We really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you being on, and I will have Brownie, if you'll do in the comments down below, if you'll put your contact information in that, that way people can reach out to you on the Facebook Live. They'll know how to reach you. But I really appreciate the time that you gave me this morning, early on a Monday morning. And hopefully we can get the word out. If you're watching this and you got value out of it, would you please share it with your network? Even if you didn't get value out of it, there's somebody that needs to hear this message. Please share it with your network so that we can get the word out about Tim and Brownie and what they offer. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much, Tim and Brownie, and thank you to everybody watching today. I appreciate you. And we will see you next Monday on Military Mondays. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you.